Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Just what everybody wanted to see on a Thursday, 49 good San Francisco seconds.
Oh. I'll tell you what, it's coming up on us quick.
Down to 35.
Good. No, it'll be a fun year. It always is. But
down to 25.
That's good. Because there's not much to talk about other than the fact they don't really have too many wide receivers. They might be pulling us off the streets.
I mean, Brock Purdy's brother is going to be.
How about that? That could be part of it.
So
Yeah.
are you going to have some hero worship and go down to the locker room and see maybe his brother's here?
No, he might be here. It's an off week.
And that you will violate the restraining order?
It's possible.
Oh,
but
shameful.
No violation.
Tonight, I'll see you at the ballpark tonight.
You better believe it.
Guy Gadowski bobblehead night tonight. Yeah. And so for the Katie Schumacher Cauley thing, you not only were there, but I found it shameless.
That's right.
That you were the first person in line.
That was front of the line. How about that?
Then you sent me a picture of your brother with
my goodness. Well, the worst part about that.
Does he have the microphone?
He does have your microphone. I'll have to bring it in.
No need. I know what it looks like.
I'll have to autograph it for him.
I've done a whole bunch of those. I'd be more than happy to. I have. I've seen
absolutely. Yeah, I'll have to bring it in. But the concern with his bobblehead display is, number one, they're glass displays, which is great.
Yeah.
They're the old football display cases, basically.
Sure.
There are two issues with it. One, those have gone up in price quite a bit, those cases alone, unfortunately, because of everything that's gone on. But
America right now is sitting back saying, wow, what issues?
Yes, what issues? But, well, first of all, this is not a political statement in any way, folks. They went up long before the issues of the tariffs. So, but, they went up in price quite a bit. And the second part, what he has in those cases are the bobbleheads that I went through what and back to get, which was the Penn State wrestling bobbleheads for many years. Because if anybody's familiar with how they give out bobbleheads for Penn State wrestling national champions, they give them out all at once. They give out a random one to you. Yeah. And there's usually 5 national champions. This year there'll only be 2. But there was 5 national champions, and you got to scramble to get the other 3. Well, a lot of years.
Boy, do you have problems.
That was major problems. But, getting Bo Nickel.
How do we somehow get through all your problems?
Getting Bo Nickel and Jason Nolf was not easy. So if those bobbleheads break, he may never get another one. So here's hoping they don't.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, he's got a nice display. It really does.
Oh, boy. Okay. Very, very impressive. All right. Yeah, he showed me the picture, and could be one of the, oh, well.
Yeah, he's got extensive Penn State and Spikes collection,
so
no question.
This is where we are, okay? They're done hitting each other.
Yeah.
Okay, that's done. Right, today they'll do a walkthrough, tomorrow's Fast Friday, then you're going to play the game. Look, they're just dying and aching to hit somebody else. I volunteered you, but they said because of liability, the answer is no.
Well, and there were so many people lining up all for it, too. That was the scary part of it.
The players,
they couldn't wait.
The players voted yes.
Yeah, easily.
Just so you know, the players voted yes. No, I'm just kidding. But they're anxious to go and hit somebody else. There's only so much preseason you can do. Okay? I remember talking with Paul Posluszny about a month ago. It was before camp began. He says, now, when does camp begin? And I told him when it began. So I think it was July 30. He goes, geez, that's long. I said, yeah, remember. I said, you had 2-a-days. said, well, you're not allowed to have two-a-days anymore, but you still have the same number of practices, which means you start earlier. There's no difference. But you're finally in a spot where they're going to play a game. This brings with it a series of unknowns, right? And for the most part, not unknowns with your own team. But when you look at the opposition, for example, it's an opening game, okay? Right? Penn State is the prohibitive favorite. We know that. But what does everybody know about this team? They have 54 transfers on the team. And not only that, they're not 54 guys where they're first and second year guys. They have 54 transfers that are fourth, fifth, and in some cases, sixth year guys. I have no idea what they have. I mean, do I think Turner, the running back, is very good? Yeah. Do I think Purdy, the quarterback, is pretty good? Yeah. Do I think Bellin, number 18, he may not be big in stature, but do I think he's a good receiver and a good punt returner? Yeah, I do. Nate Burleson's son from CBS Sports and formerly played with the Seahawks.
Steeler as well, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
But his son's a good player. He's one of the wideouts. But I don't know. This is why, like, for example, Penn State's a prohibitive favorite. We know that.
Yeah.
The game, but when people ask me about the season, I do everything in stages and steps. I've watched this team go through their winter workouts. They had 6 winter workouts with the coaches present. I was at 4 of them. Spring practice, 15 practices. I went to 13. You're asking, why'd you miss? I had to go to a funeral. I hope you don't mind.
I will be missing September 13th game for the exact reason.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who passed away?
My godfather, my uncle.
Oh, your godfather.
Yep.
I'm so deeply sorry about that.
Yeah.
And I've been to all the preseason practices. Everything's in stages. Now the next stage is the game. And as I tell everybody, and I think people have heard me say this over and over again, as much as I get asked about Oregon and Ohio State on the schedule, oftentimes I get asked about the big picture stuff with the season. I can't do any of those games. I can only do the Nevada game. It's the only game I can do. Now, in big picture, I'll give you a big picture piece that people don't talk about. I feel like there's a lot of things on this show we talk about that people don't talk about. I mean, I'm not into, is this Drew Aller's team? Is this... okay. It's talk shows for 5-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
To me, let's take Jim Knowles. You bring in Jim Knowles, brilliant mind. I mean, brilliant defensive mind. Without question, you're talking about the top defensive coordinators in the country. Jim's name comes up right away. But there's also a break-in period that happens. Now, Jim's done this before. He's done this at Duke. He's done it at Oklahoma State. He had to retool things at Ohio State. Okay? But there's a little break-in time. And the example I use for everybody is Vic Fangio, I think, is without question among the pros of defensive coordinators
Absolutely.
in the NFL. Right? Among the pros. He goes to Philadelphia last year, and he has a lot of talent on defense. But if people remember, the Eagles started out the season. Everybody knows how it finished.
Sure.
And how dominant they were in the finish. But people forget they started out 2-2 last year in the month of September. They had a bye week, and then after the bye week, the defense, which had been very much up and down the first 4 games, then solidified and took off. Why? Because Vic Fangio had to find out in practical application what his players could handle, and also, usually most players can handle everything.
Yeah.
But you do have a couple of players along the way. There's certain things, and when they're out there, there's certain things they can handle. So you find out what they can handle and what some people can't handle, Because if they can't handle something in the game, you can't call it. But you can only find out by doing it in the game. And that's what Jim's going to need these first 3 games, I think, to look around at his defense and say, okay, they're handling this right, they're handling that right. Jim runs some complicated things out there. You got to be able to handle it. He's been helped by, he's been helped by the winter workouts. He's been helped by the spring practices and by the skill development. So they didn't have to really do installs once they got to the preseason. Yeah, they did some installs, but not extensive. They were able to get down and start practicing. And, at this point, he expects them to know what they should be doing, but now he'll find out in real time against somebody else how much they really do know. And they may come out of the gate and they've got it figured right out of the gate. Or it may take them a couple of games with where he's now saying, hey, X is in the game. I don't feel comfortable calling that based on what I've seen the first 2 games. I mean, there's more. Yeah. There's so much more to this,
absolutely,
than what people realize. Andy doesn't have that. Andy will find out from his 3 wide receivers what they can and can't do, but he knows what his offensive line can handle and what they can't handle. He knows what his quarterback can handle and what he can't, right? What his running backs
Certainly
can and can't.
Yeah.
Again, the amount of things maybe they can't handle is like really minuscule. Right? Like you say, hey.
Yeah, big picture.
Right.
Yeah.
In other words, that throw's not his best. You know what I mean? That's not the best whatever. Okay? But Andy's in his second year. He knows that, and he knows the quarterback like the back of his hand. He knows the running backs like the back of his hand. Tight ends, whatever you may think, they're all veterans. They're all here last year. I know Andrew was the one that got banged up early. Right, but Reynolds played the entire season. Dinkins played the entire season. And Dinkins and Reynolds, by the way, have both had outstanding camps. Even the backup quarterbacks. It's not like Andy hasn't been around Grunkemeyer or Smolik. Right? So he knows his personnel outside, really, of Ross Hudson and Pena. Right? So that's been the get-to-know-you part has been with them. All right? Justin Lustig. All the kickers are the guys he worked with last year. He's got Barker. He's got Thompson. He's got Gabe Wosu. He's got Dzansky, a snapper back. He's got the holders back. You know what I mean? Now, there are certain guys that he's mixing in on coverage teams or on return teams or something like that. Yeah, but Justin has a really good handle on where he can expand what he did last year because he knows that they're more capable of doing it this year. And he can expand more on what he had last year because now he knows through experience they're more capable, right? Jim is brilliant. He's got a lot of talent to work with. Now you have to marry that brilliance with the talent, right? And I think it's good for Jim to have the first couple of games where he can just sit there and okay, bang, 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 let's, okay. Instead of forcing something. Right? Well, this is what we do. We're going to do it. No, and you may find going through that in practical application, there are a couple of areas that maybe he may not have been sure about in the preseason. All of a sudden, he runs to the game and they're brilliant at it, and you're like, going, okay, we got that down now. Let's make sure we've got that part of the package. He's got 2 great corners to work with, 3 of them really, and let's give Dixon an opportunity before we bestow greatness on him, but boy, he has a lot of potential. How about that? Dixon has shown great potential. Now let's see how it happens in games. So when you start with the basics of that, it gives you more freedom with your other 9 guys. Somebody asked me about Caleb Downs and Zakee Wheatley. They're different players. Wheatley is very much the quintessential, in the pass game, the quintessential center field guy.
Yep.
Downs is a guy that you'll play closer to the line of scrimmage. Downs plays more like Jalen Reed.
Hybrid. Yep.
Okay, where he's back in coverage. He can make plays in coverage, no question about that. But he's also a guy you got up around the line of scrimmage, and he becomes more of a Troy Polamalu kind of player.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so they're different players, All right, but Wheatley, I think Wheatley is the premier center fielder in the Big Ten. The way he reads it, I've always talked about his instincts. He's got great hands. And Antoine Belgrave Shorter, this is not a case of other people doing something wrong. This is a case of a guy doing something right. He won the job. He didn't win the job because other people failed. He won the job because he performed better. With all due respect to the world, that does happen.
Does happen, absolutely.
Right? In fact, I believe ABS led them in turnovers in the preseason, led them in takeaways. Wheatley had a fair amount too. Having a healthy Tony Rojas makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
I think Amari Campbell, when Amari's out there, he'll be the green dot. Dominic DeLuca will have to carry 2 helmets, one without the green dot if he's out there with Amari, and then one with the green dot when Amari's not out there. Okay? That's the way I understand it. DeLuca just is one of those, like, I know how to play kind of things. And the great thing about Campbell is, and I didn't really, when he transferred in, I looked at him the whole deal. There's a lot of things he does extremely well. I didn't realize he was a junior. I thought when he was coming here he was a senior.
That's what I thought.
Yep. He's a junior. So, I mean, they've got 2 years of him here.
Nice.
And you know Zion Tracy can play. I think Kenny Wosley is another guy that is young, but now here's his time to get a lot of reps out there. I think Colin Dinkins is going to get some reps, too. He's a pretty good player, too. Everyone talks about Chaz Coleman, but, I mean, Denai Dennis Sutton is, he's going to be the focal point of offensive lines and preparation. He's going to see the tight end chip. He's going to see the running back try to pick him up in conjunction with the tackle. I mean, he's going to get a fair amount of attention. So a Jalen Harvey, a Chaz Coleman, and then we'll see what they want to do with Ivan Kamaju, and of course Zariah Fisher. Zariah's a veteran, and then Durant and Ford are a really good combo. You got youth behind him, but Xavier Gilliam, whom I thought had a great spring and then followed it up with even better preseason. I think Gilliam played really well. Ty Blanding, Owen Wayfield. It took White, moved him from end to tackle. You get on offense, it's not just Pena, Hudson, and Ross, which justifiably are the focal point. You didn't bring the 3 of them in there to have them watch. No, but now, you've still got Liam Clifford. You've now added in Kobe Howard. You still have Tysier Denmark. Tysier Denmark doesn't get talked a lot about, but Tysier Denmark, I thought, had a really good preseason. And the other guy I'm going to throw out there that may get a little bit of time is Ederline, 86. Now he's going to go out there and get 30 plays or whatever, but I was talking about having 7 wide receivers. He might be that 7th guy. Right? Might be. The 3 tight ends. I mean, look, Dinkins probably, you can argue Dinkins might be the best blocking tight end in the country. You can argue that. I'm sure there are others that are really good at it, but boy, Dinkins is a terrific blocker. When you talk about the offensive line, he's like that 6th offensive lineman. He's got that Kyle Brady feel to him, and he's become a good pass catcher. Reynolds has great hands. No getting around it. And Rapplier had a really, really good preseason. Nick and Katron are Nick and Katron. I don't think I have to go any further than that. And Drew, I mean, you can just see Drew's he's confident, he's better, and he's playing well. But you have to now go out and play. You have to go out and play. You have to go out and get it done. And that's what it's all about. You take every game seriously. You don't listen to outside noise. Drew, for example, in the middle of last season, he deleted X. See, people can get to people now because of social media. They can get to them, right? You, of course, have armed guards. It's just sad to see. Just you cut yourself off from the world. But people can get to players. And people forget these are still 18 to 22 to 23-year-old young men. This is not Aaron Rodgers out there.
Right.
It's not Brock Purdy out there. It's Brock's brother. Okay? It's his younger brother that's playing Saturday. They may be big, they may be powerful, they may be fast, they may be famous, and guess what? They're still just kids, and we can never forget that. Right. We also can't forget the education component of all this. We can talk about the money that is now available to athletes across the country. Good for them. Good. If you're going to run out there and they've sold tickets for 106 to 110,000 fans in a stadium, or at Ohio State 102,000, or Michigan 111, or Texas 101, 101 at Alabama, Tennessee slightly over 100. If you're going to sell those kinds of tickets across the board, well, they're coming out to see the players play. They should be getting something, right? But we cannot transform the game of college football into the means to an end of the NFL. College football opens the door to the NFL, and I want every single guy to have the chance to make the NFL.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want every one of them to have the chance to do it. Right? For example, Tyler Duzansky. All right, let's just take him, long snapper. Well, Chris Stahl is the long snapper, won the Manley Award, and now he's the long snapper for the Seattle Seahawks. Well, I hope Tyler Duzansky gets an opportunity to do the same thing because I think he's got some of the same gifts. Okay? I'm talking about the long snapper now.
Sure.
Okay? But now let's deal with the reality of it. 97% of college football players and probably 99% of college basketball players don't make the NFL or the NBA. They don't. Now, college basketball players, you could play in Europe for a while. Taylor Battle played in Europe for, 7 or 8 years. Joe Christman played in Europe for 10 years. Okay? You can do that. Then at some point, guess what each one said? I need to get on with my life's work. And they both got into coaching, and they're both here on the staff now. Brent Scott, who's an assistant coach of the basketball team, Brent played in Europe for at least, I think Big B played 7 to 10 years. Right? And guess who one of his teammates was when he played over there? Manu Ginobili.
Ginobili? Yeah.
Right? And when Ginobili went into the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, guess who one of his invitees was? Big B. Okay? Right? You don't know what kind of relationships you find along the way. But I'm saying that you have to get on with your life's work at some point. Sean Clifford has hung around with Green Bay. He got cut this week. I don't know if anybody's picked him up or not. You're hoping on the practice squad somebody got him somewhere because everybody needs quarterbacks. The Eagles dealt for it because McKee's a little bit banged up. They dealt for Sam Howell. But you don't know when. And your shelf life in the NFL for those who make it is still relatively short for most of them. 97% don't make it. You need to understand the degree part of it. And while money is being made by athletes here and across the country, you have to have families that are mature enough to understand the education part of it. I'll give you just a prime example. Zane Durant. Zane Durant's parents have always driven education with him. Always. Right? But Zane Durant, I think, has got a chance to be in the NFL. But he's going to leave here with a degree. Because he has a family that stresses it. I mean, Micah Parsons graduated in 2.5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And the education part of it is huge. There's no question about it. And, people forget that about Michael Parsons. They look at that he opted out during the COVID year. Yeah. They don't realize that he graduated in the short amount of span that he did. So he didn't necessarily have to stay. And obviously chose to opt out, chose to go to the NFL. It was the right choice. This is a guy that's going to get, whether it's in Dallas or anywhere else, going to get a huge payday at some point very soon. So absolutely, the education part of it is huge, and the other part of it is with the education comes the experience and the maturity, as you said, where you have guys that have been around long enough, and these guys are not only going to be mentors when they graduate, which they certainly will be to a lot of people. They're also mentors to the people that are coming in here this year or the year before. These are veterans that help make a team that much better. They help keep a locker room that much better. A lot of times when you look at what these guys have done, and that's a big reason why you see a lot of these guys came back this year. People already talking about what they can do on the field, yes, but having that experience back is massive because you have they've been in those moments before, and they can help those who have not been in that spot before.
Well, in other words, when James Franklin sits there and he looks at his football team and he says 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, he's got a whole group of people that say, "Hey, look, we went through the ultimate 1-0."
Yeah.
Quote, "We beat SMU, stayed alive."
Absolutely.
We beat Boise State in the Fiesta,
sure.
Stayed alive.
Yeah.
Right? Lost a hard one to Notre Dame, and the locker room was right. So they understand what the ultimate 1-0 means.
Absolutely.
They also had to fight their way through a Bowling Green game last year.
Yeah.
They understand what a 1-0 means.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. I mean, are things a little different now in the overall big picture with a 12-team playoff?
I think so, okay, because you can afford.
Here's the bottom line of what the 12-team playoff is. If you have no losses,
you're in. Yeah.
You're in, and we'll get a bye.
Certainly.
Okay.
Yep.
One loss, you're in.
Likely in. Yep.
No. One loss, you're in.
In Big Ten or SEC, you're in.
If you're in a Power 4 conference and have one loss, you're in.
Yep.
Okay. I.e., Indiana.
Yeah.
You can complain about Indiana's schedule all you want, how they finished the season. They look shaky against Michigan. They got run out by Ohio State, the whole thing. But guess what? They had one loss. They were in.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just because they've already established how this thing goes. Now we'll get to the trouble part, the 2-loss pool. The 2-loss pool is now where the opinions come in.
Sure.
That's the opinion pool right there. That's where you get into like, well, what's their schedule? Who did they play? Where did they play them? How did they finish the season? I mean, that's 2 losses is the opinion pool. And I'm talking about in the regular season.
Yeah.
The championship games, they didn't figure into that at all.
No.
Okay? Because Penn State, they had 2 losses last year. Yeah, the second one was in the Big Ten championship game.
Sure.
Well, guess who was the number 4 seed?
Yeah.
Penn State.
Penn State.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? Because they
lost to the team that had the overall number 1 seed.
Right.
Yeah.
But they were the 4 seed. Well, no, they weren't. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were.
But Texas and Penn State got bumped back because of the conference champion part of it. Texas was the 3rd seed, actually. They got bumped back to 5. Penn State got bumped back to 6. Okay? So that essentially is how it goes. But in a week-to-week situation, and it is week-to-week, you're not thinking about that.
No.
And look, and the AP poll, everybody talks about the starting. AP poll and the coaches poll have no bearing on the national championship.
They don't matter at all.
The first one that's going to matter will be the first snapshot of the season. And
Playoff.
a snapshot.
Yeah.
That's November 4th.
Mhm.
Okay? Those are snapshots.
Yep.
Everybody can get all twisted up. No, it's the weekly snapshot.
Mhm.
Okay? That's not the final one.
Right.
So you'll figure out where you are at that point. But you got to play a lot of football between now and then. Yeah, I mean, big games. Well, first of all, Penn State's the biggest game on everybody's schedule.
Absolutely.
Okay? And we all know they've got to go to Iowa. We know they got to go to Michigan State. We know Nebraska and Rayola are coming in here. And we know what Matt Rule usually does in his third season of the program. Look what he did at Temple in his third season. Look what he did at Baylor in his third season.
Sure.
Right? Now, does that mean it translates to this Nebraska team? We're going to find out starting tonight when they play Cincinnati. Okay? They made a bowl game last year, but tonight they play Cincinnati at Arrowhead. That's the stadium where the Chiefs play.
That is.
Right. It's big time atmosphere. Your crowd, Santa Clara is more of a wine and cheese group.
That's right. Can't even have Monday night football games for 10 years, and then they finally have them now.
Again, it's a wine and cheese problem that you have over there. It's just unbelievable. You've got Alabama playing Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So Alabama's playing Florida State. Well, for Florida State, okay? Castellanos is the quarterback now. Remember, probably his best game was the Florida State game last year at BC, the opening game for Bill O'Brien and those guys. But then after 8 games, he left after he got replaced as the starter there. They brought him into Florida State. And Florida State's biggest problem last year is they made the wrong choice of quarterback in the transfer portal.
Absolutely.
Well, the question's going to be, did they make the right choice this time? Ty Simpson gets the job at Alabama. It's his job now. You have, in the top 10, 7 first-year starters among the AP top 10. Yes, and I do think 2 starts for Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. Not enough. I agree. Yep.
Okay? Ironically, in the opening week, and I was talking with Todd Blackledge the other day. He asked if you were going to be on our side. I said, no. I said, boy, you should have seen the happiness on his face. What? No.
I'll tell you.
Are you going to hang
next time?
I'm telling you, you're going to hang out in the Nevada locker room hoping
I'll tell you.
there.
Next time he asks me to promote his cookbook, I'll tell you.
That's right. But you're going to have a game this weekend where 2 of those quarterbacks, the experienced starters, are head-to-head because you got Klubnik at Clemson and Nussmeier at LSU.
Yeah.
And they're playing each other. I mean, right out of the gate, big game. I think that's the Saturday night game.
It is. Yep.
On ESPN. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And it's in Death Valley. You're like, which one? They're both Tigers and they're both Death Valley.
That is true.
It's the one in South Carolina. Right? All right. But you have some interesting games. Once again, you've got Notre Dame and Miami.
Yep.
How well will C.J. Carr play? Carson Beck, is he completely healthy and ready to play? Right? I mean, it's another transfer quarterback at Miami. It's like last year, the draft up at Green Bay, and all the Miami people were jumping up and down when Cam Ward was the first. He was with them for 4 months. If anybody should have been jumping up and down, should have been the Washington State people. They're the ones that found him in Incarnate Word. I mean, come on. We are such a weird time, man. We are in a weird time. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh. He's with us for 4 months. We did it. What did you do?
We what?
I don't know what you did. I watched him at Washington State. He looked like the same guy at Miami. They're the ones that went to Incarnate Word and said, "Hey, how about Cam Ward?" Klubnik, of course, has gone through the entire system down there at Clemson. And they've been patient with him. Look, there are people who thought, as usual, you're a bust.
Oh, yeah. 5 minutes into his career, he loses that game to Pitt. Oh, he's a bust.
He's a bust.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to be Pollyanna
Right.
in covering sports. I don't. I do not believe that. I think you do have to be realistic.
Right.
But I'll give you an
I agree.
I'm going to give you an example, though, of you have to be realistic with a semblance of common sense. First of all, an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid's not a bust. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody makes the transition at their own rate. As much as everybody, including the coaches, would like to see game one be the all right, he's ready to go. Some guys don't. It just takes a little longer sometimes.
Well, a casual student, same thing. Student that's not playing sports, how do you transition?
Right.
Sometimes it's different.
But I'll give you an example outside of football. Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood, there are 8 billion people in the world. I mean, again, you have to have some perspective of what you're doing here. There are 8 billion people in the world. 156 of them have their tour card. Okay? 8 billion, 156. This guy has been in contention and had chances to win, I'd say, 3 other tournaments this year. I think Memphis was one. The Travelers in Cromwell in Connecticut, another one. I think there was a third one. They was right around, the lead going into the 4th round. And it turned out he didn't win any of them. He got Scotty Schefflered a couple times. Scheffler's just that good. But he'd go into press conferences and he'd talk about, I learned a lot from this. And he was positive and learned a lot. And I read 2 articles after the third one where he didn't quite get there. I read 2 articles. I think one was in USA Today and one was in The Athletic, ripping him for not being realistic about what's wrong with his game as to why he doesn't win tournaments. And I sat there and read it and went, what's wrong with you people? This guy's right there. He's actually had a great season. He's incredibly talented. But do you know how hard it is to win? And I was thrilled for him that he won the Tour Championship. Oh, now the monkey's off his back. Well, guess what? He played the Tour Championship the same way he played Hartford, the same way he played Memphis, the same way. I can't remember what the other one was. Right? It just turned out that this time he was far enough under par to win, and people behind him didn't play as well as he did. But you had to rip him for being positive? He was playing great golf and just missing. Again, I don't want to be Pollyanna about sports, but I don't understand why we cover it these days. I mean, I read a headline the other day about a third-string quarterback in the NFL making the team because it's Shedeur Sanders. He's the third-string quarterback. There's a headline about him.
Mm-hmm.
What about all the other guys that made their teams? What about the guys, unfortunately, that got cut?
Yeah.
We're wondering what their future looks like. But because it's a name, it's a headline for these people. It's a conversation piece on their shows. I have no interest in listening to it. Now, Cleveland's one of those situations where Flacco's 41 now. I mean, can he survive the whole season? It's going to be interesting to see. But Dylan Gabriel's the second-string quarterback. But the headline was about the third-string guy. How many third-string quarterbacks in the NFL had a headline? Right? And with all due respect, I think Charlie Woods looks like he's a marvelous player. But if I see one more headline about some junior tournament he did, come on. I think it's great what he's doing. But just because he's Tiger's son, I got it. Like Bronny James. Bronny James is right. He's in the league, which is a great accomplishment.
Sure.
Being in the league is a great accomplishment. But Jalen Pickett's better in the league than he is.
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, we cover sports all wrong. I don't mind headlines about, like, I saw Ohtani pitch 5 innings. Well, that may be important because Ohtani might start a postseason game.
Yeah, and it's also important because he's still making his way back. Yeah,
Right.
he's not
I'm
really
saying- but I'm
pitched.
saying, though,
Yeah,
he might
absolutely.
pitch a postseason
Yeah,
game. He
sure.
might be a difference
Yeah.
maker. That's an important headline.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's an important headline. Judge hits 40th home run is not. Raleigh's at 50.
Raleigh's at 50. Yeah.
Okay, Schwarber's hit 45. How much have we heard about Schwarber?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, after a while, you just sit there and go, I don't understand. Like, I always feel like part of our responsibility is to educate people about sports. You know, talk to them about the player and why the player is important. Talk to them why this injury, it can be devastating. Talk to them about why, you know what I mean? Like the Phillies situation. I feel awful for Zach Wheeler, right? 6 to 8 months from a baseball point of view. From a baseball point of view, let's talk about what other people don't talk about. Okay? Other people don't talk about this.
No.
I never heard anybody talk about this. There are only a few pitchers, very few, like Skubal at Detroit. He'd be one of them. I think Crochet, we'll have to find out, might be another guy that can win 2 games in a short series as a starter. Wheeler was one of those guys. Okay. Postseason play.
They don't have another that can do it, I don't think, either.
No, because Jason, there's only a couple.
There's
of
only a
guys
handful.
in
Sure.
the sport right now that
Right.
can. One of the guys just got hurt. Now Texas is not going to make the playoffs, but Nathan Eovaldi was one of those guys.
I agree.
Right? They can win 2 games in a short series. They're going to get 2 starts in a short series, and they give you a really good shot at winning. Okay? Like Spencer Strider. Now Atlanta's way out of it, but Strider's not one of those guys because he's had opportunities, hasn't done it yet.
Not in postseason.
Okay? But Wheeler has. He has a track record. Crochet does not, for example.
Yeah.
Because he's pitching for the White Sox, you're really going to be in the postseason. All right, but, okay?
Yeah, Max Fried, another guy that I think is inconsistent, but can probably do it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay? But Wheeler has already done it. See,
Yeah. Or pitched a gem to the point that your offense doesn't give you anything like last year.
Right. I mean, but again, he puts you in a position to win 2 games in the series. Well, they don't have that now. So from a baseball point of view, that's where the Phillies are damaged. They've lost a guy that gave them a shot in a short series of winning 2 games. They don't have that. For him, 6 to 8 months at the age of 35, this is going to be, he's going to have to fight his way back because he's an excellent pitcher. There's no getting around it. But that's where you talk and educate people about sports. Like, okay, the toughness of coming back from a 6 to 8 month injury, how old he is, and then what it means immediately for the ball club. It's not just winning now. They're going to make the playoffs. Right? They can't figure out how to beat the Mets at Citi Field.
I was going to say, hopefully they don't play the Mets, and I was thinking the same thing.
What have they lost? 10 in a row now, the Mets?
It's at least, I think it's 9. I think it's at least 9.
9, okay.
Yeah, 9 or 10.
Okay, and but this is where that's why I think we talk about things on here that are different than everybody else.
Sure.
Let's see. Oh, the Pirates won last night. That's good. Yeah, Rangers won 20-3. Yeah, the Mets beat the Phillies 6-0. That's 10 in a row.
That is 10. Okay.
It's 10 in a row. And McLean went out and he went 8 innings last night. Walker took the loss. He went 5 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs. But yeah, the Mets are now, what are they, 4 games back?
Mm-hmm.
But see, the Phillies are going to make it, though. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs because the wild card part. Yeah, we weren't thinking wild card a while ago. But for example, in a series like that, Wheeler doesn't pitch in that series. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? Playoffs. Yeah, they're 4 games up on the Mets. And for the Mets, let me see here. Let's just take the wild card part for the Mets. This should probably solidify where they are. Okay. The Mets are 4.5 up on Cincinnati for the last wild card spot. So if you're wondering what the cushion is for the Phillies, The Phillies are 8.5 up on the wild card spot, and they're 4 up on the Mets. Okay, so they're going to make it,
Absolutely.
barring a complete collapse. And to the credit of the teams that you follow, complete collapse is normally part of your lexicon.
Or they get put in a perfect spot and can't take advantage of it. Yeah.
Do you realize there's only one team in the National League that's been eliminated from the wild card? The Pirates have not been eliminated from the
Pirates
wild
have
card
not.
race. They have not. They're 13.5 back. But Colorado.
Colorado is.
Yes.
Yeah. Figured that.
Well, they're 38-95.
Yeah.
They're actually 4-6 in their last 10 games.
There you
with
go.
the
Hey,
Rockies.
there you go.
Not
Getting there.
bad. It's not bad. It's all right. Yeah. I mean, the White Sox are technically still alive, and they're 4-6 in their last 10 games.
Now I look at that roster and can easily tell. But there were so many years in Chicago where I looked at that roster and wondered how on earth are they that bad.
Well,
They had
I will say that
decent pitching.
their
It's
pitching
elsewhere
is
now.
good. Their pitching is good.
Yep. Yeah, their batting took a hit, obviously, with the other part, guys that were their talent couldn't stay on the field. That I think was a big part of their problem. You know, Tim Anderson wins a batting title. He can't stay out of trouble. He can't stay on the field. Both things. Jose Abreu's better years were outside of Chicago.
Yeah.
So absolutely. They had talent. They just never came together.
Oh, what they've said about this show forever. All right. Pat Kraft and James tonight, by the way.
All right.
Both on the show from the field at Toftrees. What's your game this week?
Altoona, Mansion Park. Only road game in the first
They're playing
5.
They played them up here last year?
I'm trying to think if they played them up here last year. They played them there. They played them in the playoffs
Okay.
here. Yeah, I'm trying to think
All right.
where they did play them.
You,
Yeah, they did. They did.
you, you do know
Yeah, they played Altoona
you
here.
do know this is your life, so you should know.
That's right.
I mean, God, you scare me.
All runs together anymore so many times. But yeah, they played them here.
Thank goodness for Adam.
Yeah, Mercy
Sheets.
ruled them.
Thank goodness for
Yep.
Adam Sheets.
Yeah, year before. Year before played them at the playoffs at Hollidaysburg.
I saw Sheets the other day, and he had like these big bulky shoulders, and I said, "Boy, you're really bulked up." He says, "Well, I got to carry that guy for
That's
months."
right. He does. I appreciate him doing that.
Golly.
And then already, following week is Harrisburg at home already. That's
Well, I mean, that's the thing about high school. I mean,
Yeah.
you're so deep into the season
Yeah.
now. But Cincinnati, Nebraska's tonight. We know Texas, Ohio State, Saturday. Penn State, Nevada, Saturday. Clemson, LSU, Saturday. Then Notre Dame plays Miami, I think, Sunday night. And
Yep.
North Carolina plays on Monday night, right?
yes.
I don't know who they play, but doesn't matter.
Pretty sure they do play Monday though.
I know, yeah,
Yeah.
they play Monday. I know that.
It's the Ushers in the Belichick era. They play TCU.
TCU?
Yep.
There you go. So there you go. All right. Deion Sanders says pay players NFL-style playoff bonus. Okay.
Yeah, and the headline for that was not a good headline. They neglected to put that second part in there where they need to get paid NFL style. Okay. Somebody's going to look at that headline and say, no, not a chance on earth. They don't deserve the guaranteed money and all this. But, yeah, neglected to put that second part in there. A lot of
At
headlines.
the Duquesne Club last year, somebody brought up the collective bargaining. And Jack and I were like, "Pfft, well, yeah, well, now I can tell you a year later, the guy that brought it up at the Duquesne Club, he was right.
Yeah,
And they do need it. I mean, you need to sit down and collectively bargain.
I agree.
That way, you're talking about payments, you're talking
Yeah.
about the health care part, you're talking about playoff money being separate from there's a lot of elements you need to work out, and the players need to have a seat at the table.
I agree.
I know when you've gone and negotiated, like you go in to talk to management, and the problem that you've always had is that usually you're the only person sitting in the room. Said I went in there, I couldn't get what I wanted. Well, what did they tell you? I don't know. They didn't show up. I hate when that happens.
They even had the law firm ready to go and everything.
Oh yeah, that probably intimidated them.
Yeah, they might have. They don't lose.
My goodness, is that Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe?
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe don't lose.
All three of them showed up. Wow, we're not walking into that trap.